This is from the Blaze Studios. But apparently, there is a hot new update. Hot is hot news, people. On the Hunter Biden, new details. Shocking. I'm excited. I want to be shocked. I do. New details revealed in Jan 6 DNC pipe bomb case. Oh, okay, it's the pipe bomb case. I'm ready to be shocked. I'll be shocked if it isn't Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think. I'm going to be more shocked by the end of this video than I'm going to have to go with Sylvester Stallone in Rambo 2. No, 3. Yeah, 3. Yeah, I mean, he was shocked in both, but I think 3 was the big one. You know, when they put him on the old bed spring mattress thing with all the fabric taken off of it, and then they hook the battery cables up to it. Remember that? I'm going to be that fucking shocked. And so are you, and so are we. So and I'm going to, when I get like enough of a charge built up, I'm going to scoot my feet across the carpet and touch you on the shoulder. No, I'm right at the base of your neck. That's where I'm going to touch you, right there. Like a dick. So let's hear it. This is the shocking the pipe bomb news. Let's hear it.
You have clearance from the tower there to...
Wait a minute. Who is that guy? Wait a minute. Nobody told me that future Unabombers of America are hosting a show on the Blaze. What the ever-loving incel shit is going on here? Good Lord. Who are you, Magneto? No, I'm not Magneto. My last name is Sparks. Get used to the idea.
Share some breaking news with our audience. What is it?
Yeah, break this news.
Yeah, if your audience doesn't know yet, they need to go read the latest on the Blaze from yours truly about the pipe bomb revelation. This was the Democratic National Committee pipe bomb on January 6th. There were 2 pipe bombs found. The first one was found just a few minutes before that initial famous Ray Epps breach that happened at about 12:53 p.m. Just moments before that, a passerby found a pipe bomb at the Republican National Committee.
Okay, passerby, right?
The RNC headquarters. And then just 5 or 10, maybe 15 minutes after that breach, there was another passerby who found another pipe bomb at the DNC, the Democratic National Committee.
No, it was a plainclothes police officer.
Committee headquarters. Now, for 3 solid years, Steve, the FBI, the ATF, the Metropolitan Police, and the United States Capitol Police have all kept from us this information about who it was that found that bomb at the DNC.
What difference does it make? It was found after the RNC. I would assume that the second one was found because they had plainclothes police officers and others walking around because they had just found a bomb at the RNC, right? You think within 10 minutes you had people walking down around there and they were doing their kind of protocol on shit? Right? Fuck me.
Turns out that the person who found that bomb was actually an undercover, plainclothes, Capitol Police officer.
So what?
Who they have portrayed for 3 years in all of these testimonies. You think about all the times they've been questioned in Senate and House hearings. Christopher Wray, what's going on with the bomb? This, that, and the other thing. They have always portrayed this person as a passerby.
No, they haven't. It never came up. Like somebody in the news maybe wrote that it was a passerby and they didn't feel the need to correct them because it was a plainclothes police officer and that there's video of this person, and that plainclothes police officer might, and this might shock the shit out of you, might do a lot of undercover and plainclothes work, so it doesn't really help if you know what his fucking face looks like. So they might want to just kind of downplay that, and it's not even necessary to the case itself. Also, it was the second fucking bomb found. So, and where were all the questions? Where were all these people like, was it really? Okay, who is this fucking person that found it? Like, where's the Republican, like, maybe one of them asked, who found these fucking things? Is this even real? Right.
They've never released until we did yesterday that this was an actual undercover Capitol Police officer. But then the story.
No, they released the footage. And you saw that it was a person they talked to the police officer. They didn't need to correct a record because there was no fucking record.
And this is what I got permission from the control room here to release on the.
The control room's giving him the go ahead.
Steve Deace show today is that we now know all.
Dun dun dun! Wait for it. Oh, I can't wait. It's just gonna shock the shit out of me. I'm glad I'm wearing a cork.
also that the brand new, newly appointed assistant chief at the Capitol Police, who is in charge of intelligence and dignitary protection details, was at the time of January 6th pipe bomb findings, was the ground team supervisor of the ATF on that day.
Mm-hmm. They found both of the bombs, did they? Neither one of them went off. There was no loss of life. They informed everybody. So, and that person who was basically in line for that job, a couple of years later, got that job. What have they been doing since? They've been on vacation the whole time? Why is this news? Why the fuck? All right.
This is a huge, another piece of this connective tissues that we're finding here.
No, it isn't.
The coincidences you can't.
It's not a coincidence. They've got a fucking hierarchy. They've got a structure. They got a ladder that people get promoted from one thing. There's a ground agent to supervisor to the person overseeing that's how this shit works. What the ever-loving fuck are you talking about? Of course they got that job. Was it the 3 other people up for the job? By the way, if there were 3 other people up for the job, how much you want to bet that the other 2 people that were that are up for that job were also involved in Capitol security that day in one way or another? Right? Would any of them been okay?
Make them up, Steve. Darren Beatty from Revolver News just released this morning an exhaustive analysis of.
Well, it's exhausting because it's stupid. And you're like, oh, God.
That video that we revealed yesterday through the blaze of that few moments of where this pipe bomb was found.
Yeah, the few moments where Glenn Beck said they finished their fucking lunch and made it sound like they sat for an hour and it was like 4 minutes.
And where this Capitol Police officer comes over to the Secret Service car, he announces that he's suddenly discovered this bomb. He goes around to the other side of the car. He goes over to a Metro Police car. By the time he finishes telling all the parties involved, sitting outside in the driveway outside of the DNC, the Secret Service and the Metro PD cop decide that they've got enough time to finish their sandwich before they get out and investigate what this Capitol Police officer has.
No, they didn't. They fucking phoned it in. And they can't do anything until the bomb squad gets there. So they called them. It took the bomb squad like 3 minutes to get there. They sealed off the road. That's all they can do. Also, if they hop out, maybe if it is a bomb, it's just going to fucking go off. This is just dumb.
Suddenly revealed to them.
What the yeah, all 3 minutes. Jesus Christ. By the way, if they finish their lunch and then call the police, that means the response time of the Capitol Police and the DC Police is fucking amazing. It makes it like 12 seconds. Oh my God. How incredible are the Capitol fucking Police that these guys waited to finish their fucking lunch and then called the police. They called the bomb squad and they called backup to seal the road, and those fuckers arrived in 12 seconds. I'm surprised they even got there that fast because the guy was talking with his mouth full.
And just, oh, by the way, the new Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is in the building. Oh, and the car that they were sitting.
Oh, by the way, Donald Trump was president. If anything, she was the Vice President-elect, but the sitting president of the United States, the overseer of the entire government, fish stinking from the head as it does. You might want to go like, what did Donald Trump want to put her life in danger by slowing the response time, by putting the absolute worst people on her duty at that point?
And when they were told
they didn't, they did fine. It's just stupid.
About the bomb was only 15 feet from where the bomb was, and they showed no hurry, no panic, no. It seemed to be of minimal.
They were in the car. You couldn't even fucking see them. You could not even fucking see him. And they called it in, and he walked back around to watch anybody around it. A car pulled up. Like, we watched this fucking video. Tell me what they were doing while they were allegedly finishing their fucking lunch. And the only place I've seen this whole idea that they, quote, finished their lunch and then called for backup or did whatever, which is just bullshit, is from these assholes.
Concern to them when this message was delivered to them by this undercover officer.
Okay, the bigger question is that I'm concerned that members of the Capitol Police have control over time and space and are able to travel great distances from their stations or from their other positions in milliseconds. They're able to warp space-time. Apparently, the Capitol Police have warp drive at this point because it took them 12 seconds to arrive on the scene.
Which leaves you with only, as far as I can tell, Steve, two conclusions.
Yes. One, you polish your head with Crisco, and it's a great hair tonic. Two, you've learned that Glenn Beck thing of buttoning your shirt all the way up to your throat, and it still doesn't make you gangster.
One, the vice president needs better security, and
well, she has it now that Trump's not president.
Maybe a food taster. That clearly her security detail, her safety is not of their preeminent priority. If in the middle of an insurrection, the best piece of evidence for this not just being a riot, but an insurrection, the best piece of evidence for that would be planted pipe bombs, for example. Okay.
Also, for the record, you do realize they took her out the other side of the building, and there's no footage that they showed of the other side of the building, that she very well didn't leave in the vehicle that was on the side where the bomb was. They took her out another way. Period. So you don't know what the reaction for it was at all. And her detail came out, but they evacuated her the other direction. They didn't come out and put her in that black car and drive away. She's not in that footage when that truck leaves. They go to another position to remove her.
By somebody who was seeking to have a V for Vendetta moment, basically. All right. So that would be the best evidence for it. So not only did they not have a high priority, it seemed, on investigating for us the origins of these pipe bombs and who dropped them off and who's responsible for them and how they got there and who found them. That's always been kind of weird to me, because that's the best piece of evidence for their entire narrative, is following that chain of evidence, right? And so
yeah, it's interesting to me that they weren't in office at the time. Donald Trump was, and there was a lot of slow walking in the crucial hours around that. So
not only did not seem all that interested in following that chain of evidence, but they also didn't seem very interested in securing the vice president of the United States.
Yeah. Did you see her in that video? Did you see her when that vehicle left? No, you didn't, because they didn't bring her out the side where the building where the bomb was, and they can tell from its size what kind of impact it would have in general. It wasn't a nuke. It was a pipe bomb. Those have limited range, limited ability. They're mainly, shredders. They're usually full of nails, and they harm people. That's why they're mostly the kind of things that like mail bombers use and but it's not going to take down the fucking building, and you can evacuate her safely out the other direction, which is exactly what they fucking did. And you don't have to panic, so you have a bunch of cops running up and tinkering with it while some dude in the bushes sets it off.
In the face of the most overt act of this, if it were an insurrection, which is really an act of coordinated domestic terrorism, is what you just described. Okay.
Right. And look, I don't know why Marjorie Taylor Greene has not been brought before the committee. I don't know. Same gait, same shoes, same jacket. That would seem to be reason enough. Is there a reason why Republicans refuse to bring her even in for a deposition?
Okay. So there's that. That's one option, that her security detail does not have her safety and
or they do, because they took her out the other side of the building and she was never in danger, and they called it in immediately, and they blocked the street, which you clearly see they do in a timely fashion. They didn't get out of the car and race over and lick the fucking thing. And her detail heard about it, came out, checked it out, but removed her out the other side of the building, period.
As a preeminent priority.
What were they supposed to do? Sit on it, literally? Were they going to throw themselves on it and just wait?
Then there's the other option, which...
Okay, here's the other option.
They're trying to indict you for, basically. The other option is they know exactly where it came from, and it's what a coincidence that it just so happened to be one of the highest level members of law enforcement there just happened to find these. And why wouldn't they want to tell us?
That's not one of the highest. The undercover guy isn't the same fucking guy you're talking about. Okay. This is a great example of the kind of like weird goop that is in the prefrontal cortex of all maggots when they hear new information. Because it is clear right now that this motherfucker thinks that the undercover cop that found the second bomb and alerted the other police officers and the Secret Service so that they could remove the vice president out the other side of the fucking building, and that they could call in people to cordon off the street and get pedestrians away and all that kind of stuff. That guy, that person who discovered that the second incendiary device is the guy that he's talking about that coordinated security for all these things and got promoted recently. He thinks they're the same fucking person. Seriously, he thinks the guy who found the bomb is now the head of dignitary security. Listen to him explain this again.
That it just so happened to be one of the highest level
wait, back up.
Priority. Then there's the other option, which they're trying to indict you for. Basically, the other option is they know exactly where it came from, and it's what a coincidence that it just so happened to be one of the highest level members of law enforcement there just happened to find these. And why wouldn't they want to tell us this, Steve, and give this guy an award for foiling a plot? Against an insurrection, make him a national cause celeb, run him for Congress, maybe. Why? I mean, this would seem to be
all right. First, again, the guy who found the bomb is not the guy who got the promotion. Secondly, the guy who found the bomb and spotted it, he didn't throw himself on it. He didn't defuse it. It's not a fucking action movie. That was his job, was to patrol the area in plain clothes. That was his job. That's what he does. What he did that day wasn't special. It was part and parcel to his job. I'm sure he got a medal or something for spotting it and doing good work or what have you. But he's not like the hero that found the bomb, because they already knew there was another one. Somebody else had found the other one, and they were on the lookout for it. He was one of the people like, hey, can you make a buzz by there? Check the perimeter while you're walking around. Be subtle about it in case this fucking lunatic actually planted one there too. But we just found a bomb at the RNC. Just do a walk of the perimeter, see what you see. That's. Do we all just have to like go back to zero? Do we all have to fucking pretend every day that we know nothing at all? Is it just this like, do they live under this fucking Men in Black flashy thing rule where they just, every time something comes up that doesn't go their way, we all just have to like default back to absolute naivete?
A heroic act, a Medal of Honor, Medal of Freedom. Why put your lamp under a bushel here, Steve? Shine it. You're a hero.
Well, actually, and this is a very interesting point. I just made this connection in my own mind this morning.
Jesus Christ. Well, that's easy to do when it's not very crowded.
Of the 4 agencies that were involved in this discovery, first of all, we had the Secret Service on site. We had the Metropolitan Police Department on site. We had of course, the ATF had to respond. The FBI had been lying to us for 4 years about the identity of this Capitol police officer. There's actually 5 agencies. Of these 5 agencies involved in...
What? They weren't lying to you about it. It's not it's immaterial.
In this pipe bomb discovery,
okay. Tell me the person who discovered the one at the DNC is an undercover cop who was dressed in plain clothes and also was the person who found it at the RNC and was dressed the exact same, and they were like, and it was clearly a setup because he was walking a block and a half between the RNC and the DNC and magically stumbled on both in a timely fashion. None of that's true. Good fucking God.
Investigation. There's only one of those agencies that is not subject to Freedom of Information Act requests, and that would be the United States Capitol Police. Interesting that he discovered that. This morning,
fucking difference does it make? If he reported it to the Metro Police and Secret Service. You could find out what the fuck happened from both of them. And also, there's a reason why the Capitol Police don't want you knowing who their undercover people are, because they're protecting the security of the fucking Capitol. If they're walking around dressed like tourists or dressed like locals, That's for a reason. It's like saying, it's like passing a law that, like, the DEA, when they go undercover, have to wear a pinwheel hat when they go undercover.
I received a personal message from
that's
one of
very
my
lucky, Steve. That's about as lucky as being an Antifa member from Salt Lake City, Utah, traveling thousands of miles to Washington, D.C., and you just happened to be there with your camera to capture the shooting, the murder of Ashley Babbitt, making your way from Salt Lake to D.C. through a sea, tens of thousands of people, and you just so happen to be there to capture the money shot of the entire event. A lot of lucky people.
Yeah, Ashley Babbitt wasn't one of them. How was he supposed to know she was going to be the one to go through that fucking window? Seriously, is the idea that like an Antifa guy from Denver is the one who coaxed her into punching a fellow maggot and then going through the window? What the fuck kind of MK Ultra nonsense is this?
Just kind of meandering around that day, Steve. Very fortunate people.
Well, yeah, I guess he was lucky to catch the moment when she fucked around and found out.
Exactly. I received a personal message from one of my Capitol Police sources this morning, and he told me that of all of the suspicious package and bomb scare notifications that he has both had to respond to and himself personally delivered to the department.
He's delivered explosive packages and bombs to the department? Yikes.
That he had never seen a more lackadaisical reaction to anything from either any of his colleagues at the Capitol Police or the complete nonchalant attitude.
Does he know that guy? Wouldn't that be your second question? Does your source, has he ever met the guy? How big is the fucking force in Capitol Police? Does he know the name of the dude? That
these officers had on the scene at the DNC. They did not even stop foot traffic from walking mere feet past that bomb.
Yes, they did.
No concern whatsoever.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
they did. He wasn't sure what he had seen yet. He's like, I don't know if there's a package over there. It might be it might be something. And then they immediately start panning the camera around, which they have access to, and you can see it goes to a fucking coffee cup turned over on one of the benches, but it doesn't show exactly where the bomb is at that point, and it may be very well around the fucking corner where you out of shot, where you cannot see that they are blocking traffic, that he has somebody else doing it.
The innocent and benign explanation for that.
Well, you always default to government incompetence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can we look at this again? Hold on one second. I'm going to go to you guys for just 1 second. And then, who was the, fuck, I know we have it in the chat somewhere. The footage of them looking for the bomb. I'm going to remember who it was that put that thing out there. We've looked at it once already. Let's find this shit. Yeah, I'll find it. But the footage itself wasn't Mike Lee, was it? I'm trying to remember who actually posted the fucking thing online. But does anybody remember CSL? Hold on, I'll look it up on here too. Let's see. DNC pipe bomb. It should be, I guess. Let's see. Let's see. Footage, maybe. Suspect video. It's Thomas Massey. That's who it was. Massey put this out. And yeah, hold on.
From Kentucky is recognized for 5 minutes.
I thank the chairman. Director Wray, in light of information provided to us about the FBI's investigation of the January 6th pipe bombs,
he's going to show
in an interview walking in front of the DNC, which is out of the.
hold on. This is okay. Let's look at his description of this. This is Thomas Massey. He put this FBI committee. Christopher Wray testifies in front of House Judiciary Committee. This is on when was this? This is 6 months ago. This is when he put this footage out the first time. I don't know why it took forever for these dickheads.
Wearing a hat. They're walking in front of the DNC, which is out of the view on the right-hand side. You'll see
he's speeding up the footage too.
See him come into view. He goes to one police car. He goes to another police car.
No, he doesn't. Do you see two police cars?
You'll see him come into view. He goes to one police car. He goes to another police car.
Nope. He goes to one window, and then he goes to the same window on the same car, the other window on the
holding
same
a
car.
backpack. He's got a mask on. He's talking to the police. And within a minute, they start scrambling. You'll see the camera turn to the pipe bomb, the location of the pipe bomb. By the way, that's, I believe the Metro police are now getting out of their car, and that's Vice President-elect's detail in the black SUV, I believe, parked about 30 feet from the pipe bomb, eating lunch. Okay, now we go over to the location.
Okay, by the way, the eating lunch part, finished their lunch bullshit is, insofar as I know, made up, finished their lunch from this eating lunch remark by Thomas Massey.
To the pipe bomb, the cameras are scrambling. It appears to me that that's not a coincidence, that the person with the backpack who walked by that bench and then went up to the police and the detail didn't do that accidentally. They had a purpose in mind, and that what transpired after that was the result of information that person gave to them. If that person,
yeah, one would think,
found the pipe bomb, would they be a suspect?
Well, again, I don't want to speculate about specific individuals. I will tell you that we have done thousands of interviews, reviewed something like 40,000 video files, of which this is one, assessed 500-something tips.
Have you interviewed that
the
person?
Devices. We have conducted all logical investigative steps and interviewed all logical individuals at this
Then
point.
you need, it's 900 days. You need to tell us what you found, because we're finding stuff you haven't released into the public. And
okay, that's it. That's his argument. There you go. That's based on the idea that, I guess, let's see. I don't know if there's the raw footage of it. Troy Nell said, please note some of the photo. Antiva threat 316. Yeah, hold on. I'll look again for the Thomas. Yeah, just let's see. Thomas Massey. That's when he releases it into. But yeah, there you go. Thomas Massey bomb discovery is one thing that's coming up. Yeah, okay, so here's the raw footage of it. And we looked at this before. This is not sped up. This is in real time. Hold on, let me show you this again. So this is the footage. This is 1:05 p.m. on that day. And there are, again, while there's shit going down at the Capitol, but the vice president is over at the DNC headquarters watching how this shit is going down. Luckily, they didn't have to evacuate her the way they had to do Pence and all that shit. And so this is, by the way, the camera angle on this. Can I just say, like, at no point do there's the guy. He walks up to the window, and then he talks to them for a second. He goes, guys, I think there's a bomb here. It might be nothing. It might be another fake. I don't know. I know we just heard from the RNC, but it looks like a similar thing. He walks around to the other side of the vehicle and says the same thing, kind of playing it down, just like acting like he's asking directions or some shit like that. But the idea that he doesn't like bolt to the car and start screaming, bomb, bomb, get down is just fucking retarded. Pardon the R. But it's just stupid. And then at this point, he goes back over there and he lets the Secret Service know. He's like, I just told them, I think I spotted a device along those lines, whatever the protocol is to react normally. They've obviously started talking to people immediately. He's not running out, and scrambling people out, because again, that could trigger the bomb. That could get somebody to actually trigger the bomb. Okay. That's somebody like actively doing that. Okay. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, just get down, get to the chopper. Like, that's what they expect. It's just fucking stupid. And then so they here it's how much time? It's a minute later, minute and a half later. They've already made a call. Clearly, they start getting out. We'll jump forward a little bit to 107. They leave the vehicle. And right over here. By the way, can I just say for the record? The assumption is they didn't stop foot traffic. They didn't. Okay, the only people we saw crossed right here. Yeah? They crossed right there. And then we don't see anybody else go past that point until the cars start rushing up. So these folks are clearing in this couple seconds. Also, they very well could be on the team, as it were, because they're around this building. I don't know what the walking traffic is like around the DNC on the day of the fucking Jan 6 insurrection, right? So we don't, past this point, we don't know if they've got, because they have another cop that shows up, comes walking in. That person could have been just around the corner and just started pushing people away and telling them not to cross the street. So as they continue on this thing, then he's continuing to talk to them. This cop gets out. They start wandering around. They tell the detail. And there is no other person around in our vision in this. This car drives by, but they're waving people through. It's driving fairly fast. So this car comes through. It's on the other side of the street. Then these folks come up, and then by that time, there are cops on the corner, the cops on the street, and they are like, this is where they start brooming people out. And this is where they see, again, this is a coffee cup. That's the only thing this thing centers in on. So it's looking around for what the fuck he's talking about. And it's the idea that it's down under here because we can't see it from this footage, right? All we can see is the coffee cup, and then maybe there's something under, maybe there's a backpack or something under there, but the idea is that it could just be suspicious package, right? Their issue is that somehow nobody reacted, or they didn't react fast enough, or they didn't react in a panicked fashion enough. So they look over here, this is the camera scanning around while these guys are, and again, what are these guys supposed to do? What are you asking for? Again, I don't want to hear what your policy is. I want to hear how you're going to implement it. What the fuck does it mean when you're going to, when you're implementing a policy? And the idea that regular beat cops or Secret Service are going to hear that there's an explosive in the area nearby that is an anti-personnel explosive, an IED, a pipe bomb, right? That is in range of them. It's about 30 feet away. They're outside of its effective range for the most part, but they've got to stay clear of it. That's very well why they might be walking around to the other side of their car, whatever. And again, we don't even see where it is. Let's just assume it's either here or it's over in here, or even it's around the corner over here. At this point, we don't know. They haven't shown us the fucking thing. The only thing we've seen is a coffee cup. So this whole area where these folks are, those folks were over here, this whole area is cleared out. Insofar as we can see right here, and we'll see if anybody else walks in. There's the whole corner. There's nobody on that corner. Nobody there. These two folks are crossing the street, and then they just start. This is when these guys start like looking at the area and talking about it, and then a moment later, they start kind of directing people to move through quickly. Let's see where these people go. Because again, I don't even know if it's around the fucking corner. So they're walking down this way to take a look at it. They're definitely, she's not coming out, right? I don't think we saw the evacuation of the vice president when we looked at this last time. But so these guys walk over, they say something, they walk people away, and then they start blocking the road. Then you get more cops over there. They start showing up. These guys are walking around. And here comes this police officer. Okay, we don't see where it comes in because the camera's panned back over here. Okay, so she doesn't leave through this way. She's not in the vehicle. So they're going around to the other side of the fucking building to get her out of there. This is clear. They didn't leave her there. Nobody says they left her there. Nobody assumed that they would fucking leave her there. That's just dumb. What they didn't do, and by the way, that might have even been the exit point at all, right? Yes, I did this before, but apparently it's worth covering again. And I'm speeding through it, so because we covered it last time. And then once that cleared out, they move all the people who are not, yeah. And then they're pointing at something down there. I don't know what they're just like trying to say. Where is it? It's not that. I don't see anything there. Is that? I mean, if that's it, which it isn't. It's no big deal. If it's in there, or there's some talk about it's in there, or they're not even quite sure, you know, they weren't abundantly clear as to where it was. It's not there. That's the fucking laser thing for the gate. And they're just clearing people out. So again, I don't know what in the hell this is supposed to mean. Does anybody in any of this shit? Oops, sorry about that. Why is this news?
We have to start. But look, we're so far past that one with regards to January 6th. It doesn't make any sense. And then Steve, just the breaking information I gave you about this new assistant chief at the Capitol.
Yeah, that's not breaking news. Nobody gives a shit.
The other connective tissue is not only is he head of intelligence, not only was he there overseeing the ATF's response to these pipe bombs on the day, but he is also now the head of the Capitol Police Dignitary Protection Detail, which folds right back into our initial story about Nancy Pelosi's head of security, who perjured himself in the Oath Keepers trial. This new guy, is now this officer, David Lazarus's boss.
Wait, the guy, yeah, because he still has his job. Also, he didn't perjure himself. I don't know what that effect is. Yeah, I'm going to need a more direct reference than he just perjured himself, because you guys think what it doesn't match. That's not the same thing. That's not how perjury works.
So they gave him a promotion. Huh.
Not the guy who found the fucking bomb.
Then why didn't they promote him as a hero? Why are we just now hearing about him foiling the great evidence of this?
All right, this is the moment where this asshole knows that this guy is confusing the people involved. He's realized this just now. He's realized that this guy is talking about it. He's mixed up the facts of this, and he's not gonna fix it.
It's domestic terror plot and insurrection. Why are we just now hearing about it?
It's not not to be confused with the guy who discovered the bomb.
There we go. There we go. Was I right? He fucking spotted it, and I to give him credit, he's trying to straighten him out.
It's not not to be confused with the guy who discovered the bomb.
Thank you.
Capitol officer, but the guy.
Thank you for correcting my entire points inversion of the reality. It took him this fucking long, 9 minutes into an 11 and 42 minute fucking clip, and they posted this again. I did not pull this clip from the whole show. I didn't go in there and grab 11 minutes and 42 seconds of this whole fucking hour that they did and go, look at these assholes. They posted this clip in this length with this content, all of it. This is them. Just my conscience is clear.
Who came over from ATF to now be assistant chief at Capitol Police over intelligence and dignitary protection.
Final thing here. I mean, you have been all along.
Again, he basically, this guy just realized, look at the look on his face. He's like, this motherfucker just shit a hole in my whole conspiracy theory because he misunderstood the root of the conspiracy I was trying to create and inserted his own dipshit conspiracy that doesn't fit the facts that I said. And he was selling it the whole time, and I just realized it. Fuck. Look at him. That's exactly what happened.
And that's why we respect you. You've been very cautious about this. You're not eager.
She's unlike you. What do you mean? Cautious? How cautious could you be when you haphazardly discuss the facts of a case with a dipshit like you and let you run roughshod over the whole thing?
To jump to affirm one narrative or the other. There have been times you've actually pushed back on some of people on our own side and said, nah, there's some...
Like just now? Nah, you're actually dumb.
There's some bad actors here and some people that probably deserve to be punished, okay? But you're just fine with, you're just following the truth here.
Yeah, that's all he's doing. He's just following the truth. And apparently it's led him to smack dab into one of your dumbest lies yet. Look how sad you made him. Look at him. You ruined his day. This was his breaking story. And right now he's having a crisis. Look at him. He's going, fuck. I had a piece of what I thought was breaking news, and I had to bring it on the Blaze. And they sat me down because I was in a fucking hurry. I couldn't wait till tomorrow morning and just do it on somebody else's show. I had to rush right out. Glenn told me, get this out on the air right away. And I said, nope. I want to wait till I can be on Stu's show because Stu learned from you how to shut the fuck up. And so I had to just jump in this seat and listen to this fucking dipshit. Who looks like the gnarly, overly sensitive, violent kid in some sort of after-school special, and he gets my whole conspiracy backwards and fucks the whole breaking news. But I want to go home.
So this latest piece of evidence, what does it tell you?
Well, if you were listening at the beginning, you would know. And you wouldn't have made him feel like a dipshit.
I got about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you had 9 minutes and 51 seconds, and you blew it.
Yeah, this is confirming what so many of us have been suspicious of all along, and what we have been building the evidence of is, I believe that leadership in the Capitol Police, leadership, I'm not talking about the frontline officers.
That guy that allegedly found the pipe bomb and then talked to the Metro Police and talked to the Secret Service, all those guys are frontline. Every guy in that video that you're showing, that you're saying dicked around, ate their lunch, fucked around, didn't call for help, didn't do their goddamn job, all that stuff. Like, that's who the fuck you think the top of the hierarchy are parked outside the fucking DNC headquarters on Jan 6th, you dumbass? Of course you're saying the rank and file are shit. Don't back out now. You can't back the blue unless you actually back the fucking blue.
Saw the fear in their face. I saw, and of course I've interviewed dozens of them who believe that they were set up that day by their own leadership. And now we are beginning to discover the evidence of just how corrupt and how involved the Capitol Police leadership were in what took place that day and what was allowed.
What? All right, hold on. Is your explanation of what happened on that day that the Capitol leadership made these guys slow walk shit? That they were a minute to 90 seconds slower on their response to this fucking thing because Capitol leadership, like they were like, I think like he's got a fucking one of those like throat microphones on both sides of his esophagus where they can hear him talking even if he's whispering, and he's like, I see a pipe bomb. And they're like, stand down, dick around for 2 minutes, let them finish their lunch. Like, these guys responded to it. They responded to it based on the threat that they saw and what they were hearing over the radio or what they were getting from the RNC site. They clearly knew about it at that point. They were on the lookout for it. He did a walk of the perimeter. He saw something. They started reacting to it. They're like, yep, I think we got something over here. We're going to check it out. We need to, go easy because we don't know if somebody's going to try and set these fucking things off. We don't know if there's others. All the stuff you deal with when there's somebody who's planted multiple fucking bombs.
To transpire. I'm not saying they planned it, but
Jesus Christ. Just go ahead and say they planned it, asshole. Why don't you just 9/11 was an inside job. America had it coming. Just go for broke. Just like it was all an inside job. Trump was president, but Nancy Pelosi was running things. This, fucking like Trump's president now and is running everything except the bad stuff, and Biden's doing all the bad things that you don't like about government, and Trump's running his own fucking military force. He's the one bombing the Houthis, but Biden's the one, like, I don't know, letting the World Economic Forum do a great reset. Just fucking dive in, because it's all nonsense. If you're gonna I think it was Winston Churchill who said, if you're eating a shit sandwich, keep biting.
I am on the they allowed it to happen camp.
They allowed what to happen? Allowed what to happen? Because if maggots don't freak out and attack police officers and storm up the Capitol steps and wearing body armor and fucking helmets and carrying hornet spray and bear spray and having guns and knives on them, multiple people had, fucking Ashley Babbitt had a knife and a backpack with God knows what in it. They built a fucking gallows. Let it happen? Why would there be anything for them to let happen? If maggots didn't want to attack the Capitol, if maggots didn't want to lose their shit and scream hang Mike Pence and brag about they were there in the Capitol to shoot Nancy Pelosi in the fucking head, why did they need somebody to goose them?
Seems like at the very least now, some people went there with bad intentions.
Really? Well, clearly you mean Antifa.
And anticipating that some people were going there with bad intentions.
Gee, what was your first clue? The fucking Proud Boys and maggots that came there in military formation that were all wearing the same fucking outfit, that they had fucking military gear on, they had body armor, they had guns in their truck. One of the guys who went to get a fucking gun died of a heart attack in the fucking truck. Yeah. What do you think? Come show up, it'll be wild. And if you don't fight for our country, we're not going to have a country left. You're going to have to be strong.
The powers that be, anticipating that was going to happen, thought never let a good crisis go to waste. That seems to be at least what happened here.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's what Nancy Pelosi, why would Nancy Pelosi and everybody there not want to just keep stronger barricades up? You know, because they thought these maggots are actually going to go through with this shit. They were like, we could put stronger barriers up and a couple more cops or whatever, but we don't want it to look too offensive or whatever. And we'll just let them in. And maybe if we're lucky, they'll get to Pence before they get to Pelosi. And then we can open fire. What are you talking about?
No.
At the very least. And that's exactly where my investigations continue to take me, is to that.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I've seen what this asshole has written, and I've seen like this presentation of this. That doesn't continue to drive you in that direction. It doesn't. There is no fucking breadcrumb from that video to this dude getting a fucking promotion that leads to a conclusion based on what happened on January 6th. People who worked on that day and risked their lives and did all kinds of shit, or were good at making sure it didn't get any worse than it did, and the fact that it was a failed insurrection, that they were unsuccessful. There's a lot of reason for a lot of people to get fucking promotions from the job they did that day in reaction to what was going on that didn't require, their response did not require a violent impact on the people that came there to attack Capitol. They didn't have to open fire. They didn't have to, kill more people in this process. The fact that only one person died of an offensive wound, a defensive wound, I would argue, is a fucking miracle considering what these assholes were trying. There were several moments where the police were like, we have a decision. We could pull back or we could shoot some of these dumb motherfuckers. But there's so many of them that we'll be out of ammo, and there'll be 25, 30 dead motherfuckers and about 1,000 of them after that will just keep pouring through. And then we're dead and other people are dead. And, and this will be horrifying. If we could just hold them and treat this like a fucking football game and hold these guys back until we can divert them to other places, we will save lives, the lives of these idiots and ourselves. The restraint on that day is fucking legendary. That's why these people got promotions. That
very conclusion is that it doesn't matter whether all of these disparate groups were organized and were communicating with each other.
Yeah, it does. You mean the ATF and the FBI and the Capitol Police and the Metro Police? Of course they are, you dumb motherfucker. The question is, were groups of maggots, the Proud Boys, the fucking Oath Keepers, these 3%ers, and these neo-Christic psychopaths that rode there on a bunch of buses paid for by Charlie Kirk and Ginny Thomas, if those motherfuckers were coordinating, and they were, that's why they're going to jail for such long periods of time.
The Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, the 3%ers, this, that, and the other militia. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
Yeah, it does. It fucking does matter, because that's what makes it an active sedition. Because if these groups are coordinating, and they were, and any one of those groups was coordinating with Steve Bannon and Mark Meadows and Roger Stone at the Capitol, and they fucking were, then the whole thing was a planned military exercise with the bodies of the other maggots as effectively human shields for these, weekend warrior dickheads to try and get close to the targets, specifically Pence, Pelosi, and members of Congress that they wanted to get rid of. Of course it matters.
These individual groups' motivations were. At the end of the day, once they were there with the intel that the Capitol Police had and did not pass along, they allowed this thing to form and take shape as it became the event that we all know of as the worst day in American history, where we almost lost our democracy.
Okay, all like Glenn Beck style shitty sarcasm aside, the plan ultimately was in response to divert these assholes out the exits, or turn them around and walk them back out after they said their piece, after everybody was safe. So they held the wall and they held the doors until everybody could be cleared, including the vice president and the senators and the members of Congress and their staffs, got them to safe places, and fucking the Josh Hollies of the world were fucking kicking up their step, trying to get away from these dickheads. And then once they were safe, and they were in an area where there was absolutely no way that these dickheads could get to them because of the labyrinth of hallways and the layout of the fucking Capitol. At that time, the cops started going, come on in, go this way. Yeah, through this door. Hey, we'll open the door for you. Have fun. Oh, yeah, take a look at the thing. I don't know if you guys have ever been here. Yeah, nice to meet you. Up that way. Yeah, sure. Go through these stairs right there and down that hallway. Absolutely. Yeah, after you. Yeah, and the ones that had already broken through a fucking window, they ended up in the the Senate chamber, which, most of this was being done on the other side. So they ran them over to the, that's why they knew people were safe. So these dickheads could get into that well because nobody was going to fucking be there. Or sorry, vice versa. House, they ran them over to the House because they were originally in the Senate, and that's where these people ran to, and they knew it was empty. So they get, as much as they wanted to stop them, it meant killing them or beating the fuck out of them. And since there were dozens of people around, and there were more wandering assholes in body armor than there were cops that day, if they'd have started taking down the Jacob Chesneys of the world, then everybody would have gotten violent inside the Capitol, and they did everything they could to try and divert that. This is where you had the cop going, yeah, come this way, yeah, walk down this way. He's guiding these people up a flight of stairs and down this way, and they're like, look at him, he's helping them in. And you're like, motherfucker, the door he kept them from going through was where everybody was hiding. He was a fucking genius, and these dough-headed motherfuckers. No wonder everybody thinks that, what Ray Epps whispered in one of their ears and they were able to, it caused them to attack. Because anybody goes, this way, they're like, for fuck's sake. Again, I am so grateful every single day that the people that planned this thing and the people involved in it were all, to a person, fucking stupid. Just like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
Steve, great stuff. You're doing great work, man. Keep it up.
No, it's a waste of time. You're an idiot, and this is silly, and it wasn't breaking news, and I'm very disappointed. But it allowed me to kind of clamor about things. I don't know.